and roll. Hey, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're having half as good of a day as I am, you're having a great day. That's all I can say. I'm not sure exactly what I want to get into today, but I did have an interesting question over on the Twitter community, the spring Twitter community. So I think I might just start with that. So I am just kind of getting set. Maybe this will be short, maybe it'll be long. I'm just getting organized. But thanks for joining. Thanks for stopping in. I'm going to go ahead and pull some things down. And we'll start this way. I think I can do it this way. I'm still getting my groove figured out here. I'm going to share my screen. Let's share screen one. That looks good. And we're going to do this. Of course, we're going to start at spring.io. We're going to do Maven Java 2.6. Yeah, let's just do 2.6.4. We'll do that. And let's make this, let's just do the Eureka server. Yeah. We'll do that. Cool. We're going to use Java 17. And I think I can just do this with discovery. Can I do the Eureka? I can't spell server. Yeah. Let's do that first. I don't think there's a whole lot to do on top of that. We can always change our minds later. Let's just do that. Let's get started. Yeah, Eureka. I should probably pull up an IDE. New one. So I'm here to show you how I do things. So I'm going to show you. So I just pulled something down and it goes on my downloads, and I haven't made that cool shell script yet. But I go into fun, and this is where I'm going to put it. I'm going to unzip that downloads Eureka zip, and cool. Then I'm going to go into there. I'm going to make sure I got all the stuff. MPNW install. And yeah, let's grab all the stuff while I go over here. I'm going to try to turn on some music and log into some stuff while we have this time together. Oh, you know what I should, what I'll do on the next round is I will, I'm going to add native, and I just want to experiment and see. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just going to turn a little tiny bit of music over here. Just enough for me. Maybe hopefully it's not too distracting on stream. And okay, cool. Let's open that up in, I'm going to use IntelliJ today. I'm just opening up IntelliJ. Sean, Eureka. Fast thinking. I want to look at you, so I'll put it up here. I don't need that right now, so I'm pretty sure there's just one annotation I need, and I'm pretty sure that I didn't put it there. I do this thing just for consistency. Again, I'm here to share. I'm going to rename this guy. And I thought it was a refactor. I want to rename it. Why is it? Oh, because it's not done yet. So we'll give it a sec. Recommended plugin available for dependency. Sure. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that must be deep. So let's look what we got out of the box. 2.6.4, common example, Eureka. It gives me a default version. Cool. It tells me my Spring Cloud version, so I'm compatible. And it checks those things for me. So I've got this Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Eureka server. Some tests. cool. Grab the Spring Cloud dependencies. Nothing too fancy. And let's go and take a look at the docs for Spring Cloud Netflix Eureka server. And let's see what we can do. Spring Cloud Netflix, join your own server. Cool. Getting started. Cool. I'm trying to read fast. Let's see what it says here. Samples, server discovery. Let's see what that does. Spring Cloud samples, Eureka. It looks like there's not a dependency. I'm going to peek, see what we have in here. Enable Eureka server. That's the annotation that I thought that I was looking for, but I was just making sure. And there's not a whole lot else, so that's all I'm going to do is over here. And now that I'm all set, all I'm doing is adding this. Hopefully that'll get resolved here in a sec, but I also wanted to just refactor, not reformat. I want to refactor, I want to rename this guy. And this is, again, this is just a quirk, if you will, for me. Yeah, select all. Somebody's at the door. This is awkward. I will be, yeah, sweetie. Somebody's here for my dog. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. I got to take my dog to the place. So stay. I'll be right back. So note to self, I'm going to need one of those, hey, we'll be right back screens. Sweet Killer 9, thank you so much for joining. It's code. We're digging in. So what I've done is I refactored both sides, and I added this Eureka server. So let's see what that looks like. Run. Pretty simple out of the gate. I don't remember what port it starts up on by default. I can ignore those. It's doing a lot of stuff. It's trying to connect to something. So let's take a look. Let's do it this way. I want to be able to see it a little bit better. I want you to be able to see it better. So let's do it this way. Maybe a little bit better. Do it here. Hello, hello. Okay. I want to look and see what it's doing. So out of the box, all we've done is grab one dependency, the Eureka server. We're running with Java 17, but it's doing some things out of the gate. So it is running on port 8080, which I don't think that's our default. And I said enable Eureka server. So I just want to look and see what it's trying to do here. It says, hey, default endpoint service is looking for 8761, which is the default. Okay, I know that. So I'm trying to stand up the server. So I don't necessarily want the server to try to connect to another instance. So what that's telling me is there's the discovery client, but I don't want that client to try to register. And I think that's what it's doing. It's trying to register with a local server. So let's go back here. And let's go into our docs. This is our current docs. And we're going to keep going. Rodrigo, what is Eureka? That's a good question. And that probably would have been a great place to start. Eureka. Oh, look at right here. It's discovery. So if I've got an application, let's do it this way. I like this tool. I'm going to save the one that I was working on earlier. Please hold. I'm going to save this. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to let you work on this with me. So I save that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to clear all this out. Got a new canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this share link. We're going to go ahead and start a share session. And we are going to, I'm just showing. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to copy that, or this button. And I'm going to put this over here so everybody can join in if you want to draw and help understand. Anbu, service discovery framework from Netflix. All right, so we got that. It's in progress. If you want to join and write, feel free. Both server client side components. And Rodrigo, great. All right. So all we've got now is we're doing this thing. We've made a Eureka server. So that's our instance that we now have running. And right now, it's running on port 8080. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that here, port 8080. But what we saw in our log was that clients are actually going to look for 8761. So we need to make a change here. I know how to do that. That's in here in my resources and my application properties. I think I want to do server.port. I think, equals. I want to do 8761. So that's the first thing, is when the other clients, the discovery clients, are looking, they're going to look for localhost 8761. So I want this guy to start up on 8761. So let's just do that real quick. So I'm going to show you what I'm changing. Down here, I can see, that's my client. So let's do two things. So I canceled that. I'm shutting it down. I saw that it started up on port 8080. And what I did just now is I changed it, hopefully, so that it starts on port 8761. I think there's another property in here called, look at there. Eureka client disable. I want to do something like that. Eureka client, I want to not register. If I indicate the Eureka client, no, I want it false. These are two changes that I'm making. And let's see what difference is. We had a lot of stuff rolling through. I want to make sure I'm keeping up with chat. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see what we can do now. I'm going to go ahead and just clean, because I'll ask. Hopefully the audio is coming through okay, and the music is not too much of a bother. What happened here? Field application, something, Netflix could not be found. Auto configuration. So what did I do wrong? I made two changes. Initialization complete. AutoWire candidate. So what happened? Unable to start. So I did something. I only made these two changes. Let's see which one caused the pain. See if we can get the pain away. That again. We need to do a. I know there's plugins to help this out. Oh, look at that. Okay, so server port looks to be right, and this one might be causing my pain. So let's just try that one more time. Shouldn't have to just do one change at a time, but that's how I roll. All right, starting. All right, cool. So I can see here that I have 8761 as the port that I'm running on. Now, because I have 8761 running, my client, it registered with that. So I self-registered. What is this up here? Where my client looked first and it wasn't there yet because I wasn't up and running yet. Okay, that's interesting, but I'm not sure I want it to be a client. I don't want my server to be a client, I don't think. But let's see what that provides. Localhost 8761 Eureka. Hey, there's nothing there. Let's do. Oh, here I'm going to turn on all of my my management endpoints. I don't remember those off the top of my head, but I have another repository that I can go peek at. Is it this one? Yeah, that one might be it. Oh, we're just gonna go look at those. The YAML, yeah. App properties. We're just looking for the management endpoints, and clearly it wasn't it. Nope. What was the last one that I did? I don't need to panic. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's do this. Sure. Let's grab those and throw those in so we can turn on some stuff. We're gonna make this YAML for easy to read, right? We're gonna save it here. We're covering in this YAML. And now we should have a status page URL and a health check URL, but I think there's more that I want to add here. We're not going to register anything. I want to client health check enabled. That's on the client side. That's it. I'm looking, I want to turn on some of the I could do that. I don't need to. Oh, there's that concept of peers also, which will be fun to get into. But no, I want to turn on I want to add my actuator, and I want to turn on my actuator endpoints. So let's go take a peek. And thanks, you guys, for jumping in here. We just made this 8761. 87, yep, 61. That's all what we've got going right now. And it's up and running. But what we don't want to do, or what I don't want to do, is I don't want to register that guy, and I want to see what instances are there. And it's been a while since I've done this. Oh, there it is. So what I have here, this is provided out of the box. I have this unknown application that's running over here on 10.10.1.161. So it self-registered. That's it. But do I really want my server to be registered here when I'm doing discovery? I'm not sure. So we're going to leave that right there. And there's two other things I want to try. One is I want to go to, I'm going to go to start.spring.io. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, Maven 264, blah, blah. I'm not going to grab everything, but I'm going to add this Eureka server, just like I did Eureka server. But then I'm also going to add, I want to just see if I can do this Spring Native and how this will work for my local environment. So all I'm going to do this time is I'm going to explore that POM and I'm going to grab a couple of things. I'm just going to copy a couple of things out of here. Spring Native version, I'm going to copy that. Just copying it into my POM, grabbing the bits that I missed that I want to come back to. I already have that. We're going to grab this. Dependency. We're just checking things out. We're experimenting. None of this is planning to go to production, but this is the same route that I would take if I were. I got all that. I need a couple of updates in my build profile. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this whole. Yep, because it's got profiles and everything. So I'm going to grab all of that. And I'm going to go down and look. And the things I'm replacing is really just this. I'm in good shape. So now I've got some different build profiles for the work I'm doing. Repackage classifier. I know that that's up here in my properties, and it's empty. Just from experience, I know where that is. Cool. Now, let's do that same thing. And what would I expect? What do I expect? Let's refresh, and I'll tell you what I'm going to expect. When I'm down here, I'm going to use this build pack to build a native image. It's going to do it by default because I say BP native image true. And this is in my default profile. So this is what's going to happen. When I do a Spring Boot image, it's going to try to build a native image. It's going to take a little while, and that's okay. Because while that's working, my fans are going to spin, but we're going to go do something else. So first of all, I'm going to just do this. Maven clean install, and this is just my, hey, go grab the rest of my dependencies move. Just have it. I'm going to swing back over here. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go a little here. And what I'm going to get is, I'm going to get, actually, I think, no. I'm going to see if I can get a native image. I'm going to put native question mark. And we'll see if we can get that running. Yeah, and we'll keep on going. So what's happening? Oh, it didn't pull down everything. Irrigating bean instance. What did I do? I made these changes where I said instance host name. That's the only thing I changed. And I did change the DL. Did I do that right? Looks good. Oh, is it trying to do a native compile? So maybe I don't want to go down that path. Let's do this for my regular Spring Boot image. Let's do this. That's only for my Spring Boot Maven plugin. I just want to see if this makes a difference. I think that's the only difference. Native test. Plugin. Cool. Thanks for being patient. We're checking things out. And maybe I went down the wrong path. But yeah, I want to share. Server.servlet path. Okay, so it's having a problem here. All right, let's check that out. And I'm going to go back and look at one other thing. We'll go back to the docs. We did that. We got our bits. It's up and running. I'm going to skip. Let's take a look and see what we have here. Application name. Hey, that's cool. Optional config server. So that would say, hey, even though I'm a Eureka server, I want to get my configs. Maybe I don't want to put all this stuff in my application YAML. I want to go get it from my configs. Register with Eureka false. That's what I was looking for. This Eureka client, register with Eureka. I don't want to do those things. So this is what I was looking for, the management endpoints. So I'm going to, copy all this, which looks very similar. That's the approach I was going. And I need to make sure that I don't have the actuator. So I need to go up here. I'm going to look in the POM and see if they pulled in the actuator, which is my favorite. Let's go ahead and grab that because it's awesome. All right. So for those of you that are following along, we want to grab the Eureka server. We want to we should always grab the actuator. If we're going to production, like I said, we're not going to production, but we're trying to understand things. Grab the actuator. Better safe than sorry. Grab the actuator. And then we're going to grab native. I'm going to try to grab native on everything. I'm exploring. It's exciting to me. So now I've got new configs. Let's try this again. Check. And we're just doing stuff. I should have posted this on the Twitter community because I'm just following a lead on one of the questions that came up. And I promise I'll do a better demo on this for office hours. But right now I'm just exploring. I want to remind myself. Sometimes you get to production, you forget about all the things that you did in order to get there. And this is a good example. Kubernetes has its discovery built in, but not all workloads are running on Kubernetes. I think there's a lot more workloads not running on Kubernetes than there are. But for local development, I want to run things. So I'm going to make sure I didn't make any change, right? MNW, Spring boot, run. I'm going to run this. I'm expecting some changes. It's not going to register itself. It's looking for an optional config server, that's a new feature. Still on 8761. Oh, it didn't run. Oops, because I was running it in the other window. So we'll close that. I was running it over here. Oop. So previous run, I had this unknown instance running, but now this time we're not going to register. We're not going to register with the Eureka server. The Eureka server is not going to register with the Eureka server. And that was the question. That was the question that came up in the community. Like, when would I ever not want to register? Let's go find that real quick. Right. Hey, we all Twitter communities. Not that. Here. So, hey, we've implemented service discovery using Eureka. What are some situations that may arise where we'll want to disable the clients from registering? Well, we just found one. Eureka server, I'm included a Eureka client. I don't want my Eureka server to register, right? And my initial answer was, hey, if the client is only consuming other services, a lot of the Eureka servers, and not providing services, doesn't need to register. Like, do I really need to register with those other services? So, hey, I'll do that. But that's the thing. That's why we're on this thread. So you're seeing behind the scenes on how I'm going to go and learn about this thing before I present it during office hours. We have our thing up and running. You'll see that we don't have as many errors because errors were associated with that client trying to register with the server that didn't exist yet. So I'm still running on 8761. What I'm going to do now is, we'll take a peek and just see. That was a previous run. Hey, nothing's there. It says, hey, whoa, some things might be up when they're not. Renewals are less than the threshold, blah. You're okay here. It says, I've only got localhost. This is my only server that's up and running. And yeah, just some other default data. Here's my IP. So cool. That's what I expected to see. So here's what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back here. I'm going to create a, actually, I'm going to do it two ways because I wasn't sure if the error before was real or not. So I'm going to make this true. The Spring Boot plugin. I think that this only matters when I do the build image. Yeah, MVNW clean install. I think this should work. And if it doesn't, I get it. Kind of. All I did was change the native image from true to false, or from false to true. And we're going to see. So another good question would be, hey, so Wings says, in my opinion, Spring Discovery Service is pretty simple to use and deploy in microservices world. Spring Cloud Gateway is more complex, especially when it's used as authentication. Oh, you are talking to me, Wings. I'm a big fan of this. Let's talk about that real quick. While this is building, we're about to do a native build. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to jump back over to Excalibur Draw. And I'm going to draw a picture of what I think, a particular reference implementation. I'm going to call these maybe hybrid, just web mobile. Let's do a web, and let's do a mobile. And they're running stuff. It's mostly right, HTML, JavaScript. I'm going to scroll this down a little bit. And right, those are at scale, right? There's a bunch of them. Think of all the mobile apps. They're running this, front end. But what are they connecting to? And this is where I picture Spring Cloud Gateway. Does that look similar? Does that make sense? Wings. I shared this link above. I'll share it again. I think. And what I had in the past was that Spring Cloud Gateway. I also had Discovery behind there. Eureka. I had Discovery Server. Right. And then I would have our user service. Catalog. What's another good name for a service? Now we have our authentication server. We had it for a long time, disappeared. Now it's back. It's awesome. But this is kind of the way I see things. I'm going to come in. I'm unauthenticated, perhaps that first round. And I'm going to need to authenticate. Are you authenticated? Let's make that. Yeah. And if you're not, I don't have a token. I don't have a session. I don't have anything. You're going to get redirected somewhere to log in. Cool. And Spring Cloud Gateway, because of Discovery, can know where that is. When I set up the config, I can set up the config as like in my configs, it's just going to be authentication server port 9000 or whatever, right? So all it knows is, hey, I had to go get authentication server. And because of Eureka, I don't need to know the IP. I don't need to know the, anything. I can go and get all of that information. Show me where authentication server is. I think by default, it'll be 80. But I just ask, hey, where is that at? And I can have 20 instances, all doing their own authentication against whatever backend service. So let's do that. Right. So I can have more than one of these. And the discovery server does a couple of things here. It shows me where they are. Also, it'll show me all of them. I can actually have it send back all of those instances, and I can do client-side load balancing. So maybe this one is in a different AZ than this one, but I can allow my client up here to determine which one I want to call if I've got more than one. Just picture, does this make sense? Does this resonate with what you are going to deploy? This is what we're walking through right now. Hopefully that makes sense. But your question specifically, your comment was about like how it's more complex when I'm using, Spring Cloud Gateway as that authentication proxy and token relay. So let's say, hey, I've authenticated, and there's a couple of different ways here. I can use JWT is one way of doing it, right? Where, hey, I get a token, and that token's gonna pass. There's pros and cons with using JWTs. One of the things with that, you do have to do the relay dance and all of those things, right? That's one. And again, everything's a negotiation. And I've gone that route where everything's going to have a token. As that token comes, maybe the next call after authenticating, I want to go to that user service, right? That user service, you've been authenticated somehow. User service is going to say, hey, let me validate that token, right? And what it might do, it has a couple of options. It can periodically request the keys that things are being authenticated against, or it can actually authenticate. It can do it every time, right? So if that request comes down here, I could literally go and call over to the authentication server and say, hey, did you sign this token? I don't need to know your key, but did you sign this token? Before I let that request do anything further. And I think that really just takes like an at, I can do that with an at resource annotation on that service. But it's fairly simple, and Spring really does connect those dots for that flow, right? But another way of doing that is I could also do like just a shared session, right? We have this, where should I draw it? I'm going to draw it over here. How's this? Where maybe I don't want to pass the token around, or maybe I've got some things, other concerns at scale. I could also create a session. I know that sessions are slippery slopes, and a lot of times those sessions get bloated. But it's also nice where knowing if I'm going to do a token transfer or that token exchange for when I call out to some third party. I have different routes and different paths to go down with these different architectures. So this is what we're just trying to figure out. What does this look like? So yeah, discovery is what we're going to focus on right now. But when you bring Spring Cloud Gateway into the conversation, that call, maybe it's not a JWT. Maybe it's just like, hey, here's my session. And I can validate that session just like I would the JWT, but instead of calling that authentication server, I'm just validating against a session store, a distributed session store, perhaps. So those are options. So I don't think I kicked off this build, did I? No. So that worked. I just validated that it worked. Now what I want to do is mvnw spring boot build image. And because my POM, I said, hey, I want a native image. This is going to take a little bit and it'll spin. That's okay. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to start.spring.io. And now we're going to build a client. So right now, again, we just have one server. This is what it looks like. I got one server. Thanks for joining. I have one server here. We're going to add now a client. Let's do our user service. Oh, we're going to put that on 8080. So let's build that. That user service only needs the discovery client. But we can get closer to what this might look like, perhaps. Maybe not because of time. But let's just go do that real quick. And let's get this client to register. Maven, Java, 264. This is going to be the it's going to be our user service. Cool. Yep. We're going to use Java 17. And over here, we're going to do the your discovery client. And we're also going to do this one native, hopefully. And we're going to, because we said Actuator, because that's awesome. Let's get this guy. Let's see if this guy can register. Generate that. Yeah, do the dance. So I got user there. And I'll just open up a new terminal because I want you to see this is just how I do things. Hopefully the audio is good. I'm switching over here, make sure I'm not missing anything cool. Wings, I appreciate your feedback. So building on one side. Now I'm going to jump up. This is where I'm at. I'm in my fun stuff. I'm going to unzip the thing that I just downloaded from start.spring.io. So now I got the user directory. Go there. We'll go ahead and open that with our IDE. And I'll just do the same things that I always do. We'll take a peek. We'll build it, make sure that it's running in fun. Sean, user, hello. There it is. I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys are having a good day. If your day is half as good as mine, I know what's going on. So I don't need to look in there. Same stuff. I didn't have to do a whole lot to get this thing out of the door. This time, again, I'll let it do its indexing. I've still got my native image building over here. I don't know if you can hear my fans spinning. This is just a 16 gig MacBook Pro. Not a whole lot, but it's also serving the stream and Slack is running. So kind of yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. So here I'm done index. I do this by default because some other things I do in my pipelines. It's just a habit or convention. I won't say habit. And we're going to change this. Yep, select all. Cool. Just refactor that. And then here, I know I want to do, I think it's just discovery client. Discovery. Yeah. There we go. I think that's it. And what I think, from memory, what I think is going to happen is that this annotation is going to say, hey, cool. You want to do Eureka discovery. And it's going to say, by default, I'm going to look on port 8761. I can do some other things. I'm going to start this one. It's going to do on 8080 by default. Let's just go with that and see what happens. I don't know if I have one running for it to register with. That's still going, so I don't have anything for it to register with. But let's do this anyways. Clean install. Oops. Grab the stuff. Everything from now on is going to be a little bit slower because of that native image. And I'll say this too, when I'm doing my native image, normally I'm not doing it locally. What my pipelines look like is like when I do a git commit, I'll just share this. I'll have that fire off a worker or some other pipeline, right? These are things I want to just do automatically. Locally, I'm probably not going to do the native stuff because what you're seeing right now, it takes a long time today. But here, I'm going to probably have, I'm going to have it build out two. And an example of that is I want a regular image. Being honest, I'll say it would be 64 when I say regular. And then maybe I will have it do a native image. It would be 64 native image. It's still using the build pack, but if you guys have been around and you've been watching the show, you know that I'm probably doing this too, because I've got a lot of ARM 64 native image. I built an action. I have a runner that's going to build Spring Boot images, native ARM 64. That's just up and running. So this is what it's normally going to look like, but I'm not going to build these native images because of time when I'm doing stuff locally. Right now, I'm just experimenting. That's the only reason I'm doing it right now. So let's go back and get our server. So that native, no, that's not the native. That's my local client. My client was trying to register, I believe, and that's what failed. It says, hey, consider discovery client. So did it fail because it couldn't register? Failed to load application context. Let's see, health, unsatisfied dependency, trying to do the health contributor. So there's a thing that's probably, I need to make it like optional, like, hey, it's okay if I don't have health check, but it says Eureka health indicator. And memory. So let's go find out. Let's do it together. We're here. I'm going to go back to my clients on this side. How to include a Eureka client. We do this. Hey, we're doing some stuff. It says client service URL. I can do that. It's the same. That's going to be the exact same thing. But I think that's all default. I don't think I needed that. But we're going to throw it in there just because we're learning. And we're going to do this to YAML. And we try to hurry through this. Shouldn't have done that native build. But that's okay. We're having fun. I promise when you come back to our office hours that I do with Dan Vega, we'll have this demo fine-tuned and we'll be able to explore all the things around Eureka. And we'll go a little bit deeper. Right now, I'm just reminding myself, and I wanted to share with you how I learned. Like this is what we do. Just like you, I'm sure it's very similar to how you're doing things. And if not, I want to know if you've got cheat codes. I'll give you all mine. I don't know if you have cheat codes. Right? Does that look right? Source URL, default zone. Did I do that right? Yeah. Okay. There you go. All right, so let's try that again. Client. I'm guessing that's because it doesn't have a server to register with, why it's failing. And there's also there's a difference. You want to register first. You want to get your configs first. And from memory, I recall always doing config first versus discovery first, because you can put your config server inside and register it as a discovery client and share. But for some reason, I always landed on config first, and maybe that's just because of my default setting. Let's try this again. Oh, it isn't even trying to run. We're just trying to install. What happened? I was just trying to run it. So something on the test side was failing. So some configuration on the test side wasn't working. I remember running this. Let's see what we got. I can do neutral TLS. Cool. Register. I hear my puppies. Now done with this mobile groomer. Client health check enabled. Let's turn that off. Because that seems like we're running into problems. Thank you. Hey, Lizzie, will you tell the groomer that I'll send her Venmo? Okay, thanks. Here we're pasting. I tried to paste. Maybe. Client. Oops. Client health check. This one's not health check. Enabled. This. See if that helps. See if that helps us. We're not doing anything complex. There's nothing magic here. We're just getting things out the door, up and running. With a native build going on over here. My poor little laptop. I can keep my hands. You catch the chat. Yeah, all right. Wing says, I use Eureka service names when in my OpenFane configuration when I need to call a Mac service from another. Yeah, it works like a charm. OpenFane and Eureka integration is great. However, OpenFane is not reactive. Can I use Eureka service naming with REST template? I am not sure that I understand the question. Can I use Eureka service naming with REST template? I think what you want to do, if you're trying to move towards reactive, I think you want to use the web client, the new web client, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe you tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish and what you're expecting and what you're actually getting. Then maybe I can help. Because like I said, we have these office hours. We're trying to share, teach, learn together. But that's what we're doing here. So feel free to ask your questions. And I have another meeting I got to jump to. You guys just got a sneak peek of something that's coming real soon. I'll say this. Yeah, you got questions, draw me a picture. You got the Excalibur link. Draw a picture, and we'll see. I'm going to have to cut this short. I'll check with web client. Yes, I think that's where you want to go. See if I can get this simple example. It still failed. No qualifying beam. I'm not sure what I did. Let's see if we over here. Cool. Do I need to give it a name? I didn't have to do that. I don't have to do that. I can do this for application.name here, but I don't think that's it. name of user. All right, that's my signal. I need to cut this short. Come to office hours. Stay tuned. Follow the Twitter community group. Follow that for when we're doing office hours. I expect it's going to be tomorrow, maybe again on Friday. But yeah, follow us there. I hope this helped. Great questions. Thank you guys for joining. And yeah, I got to jump. But yeah, come back. We'll see you next time. Thanks.